So we walked into her house as she opened up the door and you guys like that? Give it up for my DJ because that one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. One of the baddest. We grew up together, DJing as kids. We grew up in La Puente, California. We were bringing all this music back to us.
Ring the bell, please, sir. Thank you. Give me a hug, dog. Ring the O bell.
That's right.
Boom. Let's get this started. Get my glasses off and get comfortable. What's up, everybody? This is Let's See What Happens podcast, a destination for growth, connection, laughter, and sharing important, significant experiences that have helped shape people into who they are today. My name is Ray. I'm your host. It's a great fucking day to be alive. I'm pumped up to get this one started today. I have a Los Angeles icon in the house, ready to rock and roll. But first, don't forget, subscribe, like, participate by leaving a comment, share the podcast with everybody you know. Any type of support helps get the video into the algorithm and promote the channel. I want to thank everybody that's been showing up, backing me up. I big time appreciate you. This one's for you, my man.
How's it going?
It's good, brother. First name, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in La Puente, California. Prior to that, I was in Azusa for a while, Almani, but ended up getting to La Puente, stood there, and started my whole, I would say, kind of career in La Puente from scratch.
Right on, Matty. I want to thank you for carving time out of your schedule,
Not a problem.
recording an episode, and sharing with me and the audience your focus, your attention, and your energy. I big time appreciate it. Welcome to the fucking podcast, brother.
Yes, sir.
I'm fired up for this one, man. Can you please, but before we get started, I want to congratulate you on your 30-year anniversary
30 years in the business.
of being a host, practicing your craft. And I want to say and recognize that in order to be doing what you're doing for the amount of time that you've been doing it, you got to be doing something right.
Yes.
And congratulations, brother. That's fucking huge, dude.
Thank you.
Can you please share with us, the audience, any information that you feel is important so they can get a better idea of who you are and what it is that you do?
Well, first of all, I am a host. I do concerts. I host concerts. I've been doing it for several years. But prior to that, I did clubs. I was on the party scene. And I started in the 90s. Going back in the 80s, I used to listen to all the DJs around the area. In La Puente, when you grew up, man, you could hear music from miles and miles away, man. So we'd ride our bikes over there, and we'd see all these people going in the disco era.
Yeah, man.
And it was, I don't want to say it was the end of the disco era, but, things come out and new things come in. But I remember that's where it started. Then going to school, I went to Giano Junior High. And from there, I started DJing with, we were just nobodies. We had a realistic mixer and one messed up turntable, the other one a Newmark or whatever. So I started there. And then from there, started, getting involved with the party scene and all that. But that's how I kind of got into DJing-wise. Hosting-wise, started off as we combined it a party back then. Cartel was a party crew, and we combined it with another party crew, which was more of a punker band type of a party crew. Not like us, where it was just two different crowds, and we combined it. So when we combined it, I remember going over there, jumping on the mic, and just actually just kind of mocking everybody. I didn't think that I was going to ever turn emceeing into later on a career, but that's kind of where it started. So I wasn't able to DJ with the other DJs. There's so many DJs back then, but it was very selected. Like you had like Dr. Cisco, you had like Mr. Flashback, you had DJ Omar. It was really hard for me to DJ with these guys.
Right.
They wouldn't let me. So I was
They
like,
wouldn't let you?
They would. Well, because remember, I was like 18, 19 years old. These guys were. I didn't have a creative records. I had a bunch of just records that were all put together from friends or whatever. But my whole goal was to be a DJ. I didn't really want to be an MC. But since I didn't get to play, I just would grab the mic, jump on it, and man, that's how it started.
Hey, so you have instinct to entertain.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? You have an instinct to entertain.
Yes.
Did you find MCing or did you find the microphone or did the microphone find you?
The microphone found me, I would say. In the 80s, there was Huey Louie, there was Lucky Pierre. There was already MCs that would MC at all these different clubs and whatnot. But if you remember looking at Saturday Night Fever, that DJ that's on that particular movie also talked. So there was always talking with DJing. Some DJs didn't like to talk at all. Some guys never talked. But me, I found that I had a niche for it, and I started running with it. I started MCing all over. My first kind of break that I got from that was at Club Arena. I had just gotten there. I was kind of popular at the time for having a punker kind of look and jumping on the mic. Everywhere I went, man, party crews started saying, "Hey, get on the mic." And it was a joke, but I started jumping on the mic. I had Doc Martens. Man, I looked like a punker guy. I was a punker guy.
Hey, so there were, let me just get this straight in my mind real fast. So there'd be parties, house parties, right?
Yeah, we would go to them. Everyone wanted to go to a house party. It was girls.
It was the 90s, dude. Hell yeah, man. You're out there partying, right?
Yeah.
And are these house parties that you were throwing?
Some were house parties that we were doing, but remember, back then, there was two types of house parties, man. There was the ones that were like in San Gabriel Valley, and then there was like the East LA, those parties,
Yeah.
Man, the Bad Boys, the
Operation X, Chaos, the Boys.
Chaos, yeah, like all that whole era. So it was just a whole different market out there.
Yeah.
way different market out there. So, the East LA Rebels. I mean, those parties were the best. You'd get to East LA, it could be 1 a.m. You had to park 3-4 blocks to get to these parties. Now you go to San Gabriel Valley, that was different, man. You had to be careful. Either you were going to get shot at, or no, seriously, it got bad. These kids have no clue, and when they ask, like, Dad, how was it back then? Man, we survived craziness. And the funny thing is, our parents had no clue what we were doing.
Yeah.
No clue. Hey, where are you going? I'm going to be gone, Mom. I'll be back tonight. Not knowing that we just missed like 8 drive-bys and just horrible stuff, but good stuff as well, growing up. And it was just, man, kids, you guys have no clue, man.
Hey, isn't it funny how, looking back now, you realize how dangerous some of the situations were that you were in?
Yeah.
You didn't know that then.
Oh, no.
But now you look back at it and you're like, damn, I almost died that night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was, several weekends were like that. Just crazy. And, just crazy. And like I said, like, man, that whole party, if you survived it, and a lot of us, we're still here, but I've lost some friends back then.
Oh, yeah,
I lost a lot of friends. A lot of people got DUIs. I mean, I'm not saying that you're not getting those anymore, but man, I remember leaving Baby Does hitting like 8 or 9 cars in the parking lot and going home. That was the norm. That was like, yeah, I had this nasty big old El Camino, bro. I hit everybody. Dude, when I would leave Baby Does, it was so foggy and I would back up, boom, and go forward, boom. And, it was just crazy back then, so.
How did you end up with the cartel? Is that the first party crew that you were from?
No, it wasn't. I was from a few different party crews. I was from a party crew called Unique Musique, which was in San Gabriel Valley. It was 3+3. It was a bunch of party crews combined. And then from there, I started hanging out in Whittier and I was part of the Erotic Boys. And back then, it was so easy to get into a party crew, man. It's just, you just hung around with a few times and boom, you're in. It's like they needed people. So I went from there, and then from the whole Whittier era. Whittier was a whole different party market. the girls in Whittier are much prettier. They're not, when they say that, bro, they weren't lying, man. So I was in Whittier a lot, and then from Whittier, I don't want to say I got into some trouble. It was time to leave. It was time to leave because of girls, and I ended up going back to my hometown, La Puente. La Puente was already doing parties, and I hung out with the guys from Cartel. I always fit in with them because I was more of a punker type of guy. And if you remember Cartel, they were all pretty boys, but they were all punked out too. Tattoos, flight jackets, and that was the way I dressed. So I fit in very easily. And then from there, I ended up staying there and, graduating over from party crews to doing nightclubs. And then from the nightclubs, we started doing raves. And then that's pretty much how I was involved with all that stuff. And I ended up adopting the nickname of MC Bad Boy. And that's how that whole MC Bad Boy started. It wasn't planned to be an MC, but I was the person that was doing it everywhere. I was the only guy, I think, back then was actually MCing. There wasn't a whole lot of MCs back in that era.
What year, if you remember, did you adopt the name or earn the name? Fuck, you probably earned that fucking name, dog. MC Bad Boy.
Well, let me tell you a funny story.
Hey, that's how I know you.
Well, let me tell you a funny story. I originally was called Bad Boy. I got that from Alfred Cartel, a friend of mine. He goes, "Hey, I'm going to call you Bad Boy," because I was always getting into trouble. Not major trouble, but a little bit of trouble. A little bit. So I ended up getting that name. Now, remember, there was East LA Bad Boys, okay? And I'll say it. I always tell the story. I ended up being in Rosarito one year, and I went there with the East LA bikers. I was always real good friends with them, Huevo and all those guys. So anyhow, I ended up at a nightclub called Banditos, and I got cornered inside of a bathroom by the East LA Bad Boys. Now remember, I was still a little kid, so I got cornered, and they were pretty. And if you're out there, I know there's a few. I know everyone's retired now, some, but I got cornered, man. And they're like, "Hey, we don't want you using the name." Blah blah blah. Well, right when this is happening, some of the East LA bikers walk into the restroom, and then I kind of was like, "Oh, you're not going to tell me what to do." I'm not talking negative on anybody. I'm not bashing anybody. Everything ended up being peaceful. I left the bathroom, but I still had that chip on my shoulder. You're not going to tell me to change my name. But what I did do is say, you know what, I got to attach MC to it. So that's when I started saying MC Bad Boy, and that's how MC Bad Boy came about. So I started coming on flyers because at first, if you look at the Sonic's Adventures flyer, which was the first rave flyer that the big one that I came on, it just says hosted by Bad Boy. Mm-hmm. It don't say MC. So that's how I got the whole MC Bad Boy.
Hey, do you have that flyer by any chance?
I do somewhere. I actually have the shirt. We had shirts that we had printed, and I have that. But I have somewhere in my house somewhere.
I have a big cardboard box full of flyers from the 90s. I'm going to start going through them and look for the ones with your name on it.
Yeah. And it's funny because I had printers people that printed that would tell me, MC Bad Boy, your name came on the majority of anyone's name on any of those flyers back then.
No shit.
Yeah, they would tell me, dude, you were like all over back then. And I was. I don't remember too much of it, but... I was.
And that's a testament to the good time.
Yeah.
So when did you kind of like realize like, hey, you know what, I'm good at this, and maybe this could be my job? Did you ever have that moment?
No. Yes and no. I never thought that MCing was going to go far. I didn't. I was lucky to do it. I did clubs here and there, and it was until I got asked, this is about maybe 10 years ago, I got asked to, hey, would you ever consider doing concerts? I was always good with crowds of people, always had a niche for not being afraid to talk. And I got an opportunity back then, my DJ, which is DJ Cazell, good friend of mine, grew up together, calls me and says, hey man, I got some shows coming up. So I started doing stuff with him, and that's how I grew in the market of concerts. And there was other hosts that were hosting back then. You had Jimmy Reyes, you had all these different other hosts, but I wasn't connected to a radio station. So not being connected to a radio station, I had more leeway of going to, say, Dallas or flying out to New Mexico to host an event because I wasn't from a radio station. So there was no conflict of interest. So I'd get out to Dallas, I'd work with Dallas hosts, and that's how I started doing concerts, working with great people. I got lucky that I was able to get picked up, by good companies, and that's how I kind of stood in that market. But it wasn't easy. For the first 2 years, I didn't get paid. And I'm not putting no names out there, but I didn't get paid. I literally had to tell my wife, hey, because I'm not saying that hosting, and I'm not saying any of this is all about money, but if you're going to leave your family for a weekend, you gotta come home with something.
Absolutely.
So a lot of times,
it's your time.
I'd come home and
energy.
And my girl never asked me for money. It was never about money, but for me to get out, I was like, here's $200. I got paid. Okay, good, cool. Because I had to keep the momentum going. So after 2 years of that, I finally had my company realize, okay, well, I'm assuming this is how it worked. I'm not saying that they realized, but they started seeing that, okay, this guy could talk. This guy does have, he does have something to bring to the table. And then I started getting paid. So that's kind of like how I got involved with the whole concert industry.
You told me a story the other night, and I would like you to share it because it's a good story, and it was a change, man. When you changed your name, and you went to a concert, and nobody knew you by the name that you changed your name to, but then when you came in there, they knew you.
Well, I had a buddy always talking to different promoters saying, hey, I got this guy, which back in the 90s, I went by MC Bad Boy. So that's what I was known as. So now being Anthony Biscotti, I have.
How did that name come up though? That's a good story.
Man, we'll save that for another podcast.
Okay.
But basically, my guy at the time. Remember, I've known my friend for a good 5-6 years. He had no clue about maybe the 90s or anything. So it was a whole new market. So he was always talking to a set of promoters about, hey, I know this guy named Anthony Biscotti. But see, Anthony Biscotti wasn't popular in the 90s. It was popular now. So he's telling these guys about this Anthony Biscotti. They had no clue of who's Anthony Biscotti. So one day he goes, hey man, I'm doing a show, come down. I went down there and he goes, I'm going to introduce you to all the friends I've been telling you about. So I get there and they're like, Bad Boy? You were talking about Bad Boy this whole time? And he was looking at me, he goes, these guys? I go, yeah. So I knew them already from prior in the 90s. And remember, like, it just, all the people that were doing stuff in the 90s that stuck around, things, obvious things have changed. They're not doing clubs no more. They're doing concerts. So everyone kind of still stood in the business, but really, names are going to be forgotten. So when you're telling somebody, I know an Anthony guy, and they're not going to know that. You got to tell them, I know, MC Bad Boy. Because if he would have said that back then, I'm sure they would have been like, oh man, bring him over here. We know that guy. So that's how I got involved with like, kind of got thrown back into the mix with that. So he's telling these guys about me that have no clue because he's not giving them the right name. So that's how the whole thing came about. And then from there, man, it just took off. I started doing all kinds of stuff, started hosting all over the place. And, like I said, I didn't think it was going to be so much of a career. I honestly didn't, it just overnight just started happening.
Hey, and I think that story is very important. I'm going to tell you why. That story is very important because you showed up, right, with a name that nobody was familiar with. Mm-mm. But then when they saw you, they knew you based on your past work.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's important because it's not something that just happened overnight.
No.
You grinded, you worked at it, you established a reputation. And when you walked in there, they didn't know. It was like, oh, you come on in, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was like almost immediate. Get on the mic.
There you go.
Full blown concert. Get on the mic, and that comes with a lot of. It's just like in any kind of work that you do. If you had a mechanic in the early 90s that worked on your car, and you run into him now, I mean, obviously we're a little thicker and we've gained weight, but there's still going to be that mechanic back then. They're still going to fix your car. maybe a little slower, but just
or maybe a little better.
maybe like 3 days out compared to 1 day. But yeah, I don't think you really lose your talent as a DJ or as an MC. And I hate when I see this. I hate this all the time, where it's a younger DJ, Vaz, an older DJ. Well, you guys are still using computers, or you guys are still using laptops, or I started with records. And who cares, man? Just get the music out there. Because I'll tell you what, when you do a wedding or any kind of party, I know we're going off the subject, but when you do any kind of party, nobody cares how you're playing the music. Just play the music. I don't care if you're using your damn phone. Just play it. And that's why, with the newer, the younger, the older, nah, man, we're all in the same game. The only difference between the older DJs and the newer DJs, you talk to the wrong older DJ, you're going to get smacked. You're going to, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm joking, but that's how that whole thing, and that whole market is just a crazy industry, man. It's just crazy. You got to really have tough skin. It's the most cutthroat industry that I've ever worked in.
Oh man.
And I'll say this again, the most cutthroat industry that I've ever worked in.
Wow. You gotta have thick skin.
You got gotta roll with the punches, man. And there's a lot of punches that come with it. Remember,
why though? Why do you think that
it's just and I'll say it's all rivalry. It's a lot of rivalry. But to me, it's never been so much. I don't look at any of those other hosts as a rival. No, they are in a sense a rival, but they're not an enemy.
Right, friendly competition.
We all got to eat.
Steel sharpens steel.
We all got to eat because every crew, every DJ, every promoter, they all have a crowd of people with them. They all have a crowd of people with them that roll with them, and they support them. I have a crowd of people. This DJ has a crowd of people. They all support them. In that crowd of people, there's always one thug. There's always one with money. There's always one shit talker. So you know that the whole market's just crazy because people will say, and it's funny because I've been in this business 30 years, and I see just people coming and going. Some stay, some come out. Some stay and come out, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not for everybody, but that's just the way it is in that market. I mean, it's just. Yeah, I think in anything that you do in general, it's cutthroat. Whether you're a roofer, you're doing roofing, and you're doing houses. There's another roofer with his crew, and another roofer with his crew. And do they like each other? Nah, probably not. They're rivalries. But I make it very clear: you are not an enemy. Right. You could. We all want to eat. We all got families. We all got kids. It's good to get out there and do it. And if you could do it as long as I have. I still up to this day, man. I've done huge shows and I get in the shower. I do a lot of thinking in the shower. I get in the shower and I'm just like, damn, I just talked in front of 10, 20,000 people. Damn. And then I hear my wife knocking on the door. Hey, the dishes, you didn't fix the room. And so, you come back to reality. But I don't want to say I don't know how I survived in this business. I think I've adapted to everything that happens with this business, and I stay in it. So yeah.
And that's and you were telling me to adaptability and being able to improvise.
Yeah.
Right. And
dude, there's been a lot of crazy things that happen at shows where you got to improvise. I mean, sometimes the artists, just different things that go on with it, and you got to know how to jump on it. You got to know how to jump on it. You know how to work with it. I think one of the most toughest things that I ever had was I did a show in industry, and the promoter told me, there's no music to be played. You got 15 minutes to talk because there's a wedding going on. So for 15 minutes, you need to talk. I was like, fuck, 15 minutes. That's a whole break, bro, at work. Like, what do I do for 15 minutes? So the first thing I did is I called one of my comedian friends. Hey, man, I need you to cover this portion for me. So I threw him in there.
Oh, hey, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of little things that we do. But
what's the biggest crowd you've been in front of?
The biggest crowd? Man, I've talked in front of maybe Microsoft Theater, maybe the Microsoft Theater was a pretty big. They're all pretty big crowds. I can't necessarily. I know I did an Orange County show. I believe it was Orange County Fest. I'm not quite sure if that's. But there's 20, 30,000 people there. So I've talked in front of huge crowds.
I saw a video. You posted a video on Instagram, and it was you. It was like a view from your back.
Yeah.
And then you could see the crowd in front of you. It's a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
And you're up there getting down, talking, and you went over to the DJ. You told the DJ something. He played Tigres del Norte.
Cazal.
Puerto,
Cazal. Yeah.
Puerto
Puerto
Negro.
Yeah, Puerto Negro, yeah.
And the crowd was just getting down, turning down. They were singing. And I remember you telling me that it's, you got to feel, and I mentioned this too, that you have to feel the energy of the crowd, right?
Well, I think with those shows, we sit down ahead of time, and like every professional, you know, you're gonna sit down, you're gonna go over some skits, you're gonna go over some things to do. Sometimes they are out of the box and they're scary. Like, hey, is this gonna work? And for the most part, they've always worked, because when we're doing a skit, you know, we call them skits, we like playing stuff that we grew up with, chente and all that. Remember, we're just intermission. It's not like a dance where people are going to walk off the floor. Hey, why'd you play that? You have no choice to yell. I could play Don Quixote's disco and people are going to yell.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just, we started doing that, and it really changed the game in the concert industry. And other concerts started doing it. Other promotions started doing it, and that's cool. We wanted that. We wanted just to stretch the limit. And we got newer shows that we got coming up. Man, we got some crazy skits, but yeah, we wanted to make concerts fun. We wanted people to go and not just be the typical show. Like for me as a host, and remember, like when I go host anything, I want to go out there like Freddie Mercury. I want to go out there and hey, oh, you know, whatever comes out of my mouth. I really want to make it memorable. And nothing that I write or nothing that I do is scripted. I go out there and people ask all the time, man, what do you think about when you're going out there? I go, I'm thinking about getting that beer when I'm done, man, and taking that shot of whiskey that's in the back waiting for me. No, but there's a lot that comes with it. But for me, I've never had anything really written down. You got back burners that you have in your pocket. What I mean by back burners is, hey, is it your birthday, or who's celebrating it? You're always going to get reactions to that. Who's 21? Who's 50? You're always going to get the same reactions to that. And those I don't really use too often unless I have to. You know, like I got 10 minutes to talk and there's no music, then I'll talk a little bit. But for the most part, you got to know how to improvise in certain situations. So, and you got to do your homework on all the artists. Before any show, I sit down prior to the shows, not the same day, but I do my homework on them. Where'd they come from? You know, I didn't know that Morrissey was part of The Cure.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, he sang
So
for The
some
Cure.
people don't know that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that Luther Vandross was on La Freak. Like, freak out. That was his voice. There's certain things that I like to learn everything on the artists. Can I announce everything while I'm doing the concert? No, of course not. But I like knowing it in my head. I do my homework on them. So, you know, there's a lot to it than just hosting. It's a lot of work.
And it's a big responsibility. I've been doing a lot of thinking about, you know, I always do that. You know, like you say, you do your research on every artist so that you're able to do your job properly.
Yeah.
And that's what I do as well. Whenever I have a podcast that's coming up, I always make sure to get to know the person that's going to come in and talk, and just I just think about them and think about what it is that they do, and what you do as a host is very important.
Yeah.
It's very important to.
Well, you have you have the whole weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, man.
You know, like I tell people all the time, the crowd that I'm talking to is easy for me to entertain. The hardest thing about any show that I do is not the crowd. I could do the crowd. It's my bosses that are on the sidelines looking at me. That's who you have to impress. Just like in any job that you do. I'm sure you've had jobs where you're loose lip, you're talking, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But when the bosses show up, you're like, get to work, hey, you change. It's similar to that. And I've told people all the time, the crowd's easy.
Yeah.
It's my peers that are looking. It's other peers that are looking. It's other people that are visiting looking that might not like you. Remember, I told you, it's a cutthroat industry. They might not like you, and you got to really deliver. And when you're in this business, man, and you start messing up here and there, you'll just get replaced just as fast as anything.
Right.
I'm not saying, I hope, but knock on mesh. But
knock on wood, boom, your head always works.
I just think that when I go into these shows, man, I gotta mentally get prepared for them. Can I do them very easily? But mentally preparing yourself for that night. It's just like it could be in anything, man. It could be you being the best man at a wedding, and you have a 5-minute thing to talk about your best friend. It's nerve-wracking. What are you going to talk about? You got to make sure you use the correct words, and but that's pretty much.
What is your process, your preparation process for these shows?
Man, I'll tell you.
It's like getting ready for a big game.
Well, dude, look, I listen to Dead Mouse Strobe. If you guys have a chance to listen to the song, it's Dead Mouse by Dead Mouse, and it's a song called Strobe. And it builds up to, when you hear it, it builds up to the music. I listen to that every time I do a show because some of these shows either, you get a dressing room or you're in the car, and I put my headphones on and I listen to that song, and it just relaxes me, but it also lets me know, get ready. Get ready, bro. It's showtime. And I always listen to that. So Dead Mouse, going to Strobe, and then you'll kind of get a feeling once you hear it, like kind of builds up to like, get ready. And that's pretty much what I listen to get ready for a show.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility because you are getting the crowd in the position to enjoy the artist, right?
Yes.
Give their positive energy to the artist. The artist feeds on that positive energy. Then they give the crowd their positive energy, and it's just like that, boom, boom, and it's a successful show. And I feel like, I could be wrong, I don't know, but I feel like as a host has a big part in building that connection between the crowd and the artist, because you're getting them ready to experience the music.
Yes. Yeah, you got to build them up to like I really like talking a lot when I host. I like talking about stories. People want to hear a story. You ever go to Denny's and you're sitting there and you're eating, and the person behind you is just talking about their daughter's husband and how he's doing this? Like, what do you do when you're eating? You're like,
yeah, side busting.
People want to hear stories.
Yeah.
They want to hear stories, and that's what I think I do a lot. It's when I'm actually doing the event. I talk about, man, I just got here, and and I just start to tell a story. And I think once you learn how to start doing that, because I've worked with a lot of different hosts, and everyone has their own style of doing it, but and I'm not going to say it's not nervous. I mean, it is a little bit nervous, but the best way for me to attack anything is for me to push myself out there and just start talking. It's like, shit, here you go, you're on. You got to say something, Anthony. Like, oh, yeah. And people just listen. Will it make them laugh a little? Yeah. Will it make them cry? Yeah. I've had people cry. I've had literally people say, man, you made me cry. Like, you took me back, and like, cool. So
that's wild. Dude.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's a big responsibility, because you have to be able to know what to say the right thing, and not move the crowd in a direction that's gonna fuck up the show, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask that later. But I want to know about the transition, because you covered that a little bit. You said you're in front of these big ass crowds, man, and you got this high of adrenaline going on, and then you come home and you have to kind of change who you are, because you're no longer doing those shows anymore.
Yeah.
How was that transition, man? Coming home, and because you go on tours, right? You're on tour.
Yeah, I go.
And you're out. How is the transition from? How's the leveling off?
It's just like everything else. I mean, it's just like when anyone from the Dodgers comes back from a World Series, you have that high all weekend, and then you get back to your regular Monday, like, well, like, hey, I got to do yard work, or I got to get the pool done, or, man, there's certain things that need to be done. You just, like, for me, I just turn into a regular duties that I have, and throughout the week I get phone calls and little meetings here and there, and stuff that's coming up, stuff that I have to do, and I take a break, and then there's another show, and I sit down and start going over my calendar with everybody. So the transition is pretty easy. But I got to tell you, when I do these tours, and I don't mean this in a negative way at all. I don't want my girl to be like, why did you say that? So I think that when I do these tours, now remember, tours are not like the 80s where you would jump on a bus, you'd be gone for 2-3 months. That'd be great. I don't have
That's
to
like
do
a
shit
Motley
at
Crew.
home.
Hey, that's not going on in a Motley Crew.
I don't have to do no yard work or not. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, a tour is normally you leave on a Friday, you come back on a Sunday. No, I'm good. Oh, you know what? I'll take one. You leave on a Friday, you come back on a Sunday, and you got 2-3 days. 2-3 weeks of downtime, and then the tour starts again. So that's a typical tour. But in the 80s, yeah, you see Journey and those old videos where they jump on a bus and nah, man, everything. You I don't think companies want to pay you to be out for that long. It's there's a lot of money involved with it. So that's typically a tour. You'll be gone 2-3 times out of the few months, and then the tour starts again. And so, but yeah, you transitioning over is pretty. You have no choice to go home. But what I wanted to get at is when I am on these little weekend things, for me, it's the only time in my life where I could relax because I have no kid duties, no wife duties, no nothing, just me. Mm-hmm. So I get out to wherever I get out, and it's just relaxing, sleeping naked in the room all day, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, and then obviously you got to get to your job, but it's I do enjoy them because, like I said, and you got to have a wife or a partner to really understand. Okay, this is the business I'm in, and you're going to be gone for 2-3 days, and they got to pick up a little bit of what you couldn't do because I don't like every father. I mean, like for me, when I'm at home, I'm dependent on a lot, as I should. I'm a father. So especially my little daughter here, Dad, I want this. No, I didn't want that. I didn't want it cooked like this. And I'm like, all right. And no, I didn't want that one either. Here. I'm like, all right, like taking.
And I don't want to go. I'm going to get revenge. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, Christian, you should have said it earlier, dude. But I enjoy those 2-3 days away.
Therapeutic, dude.
Somewhat.
Right,
Yeah,
it's
somewhat.
therapeutic. You are able to detach yourself from your regular father duties. You're able to kind of focus on yourself.
Yeah,
you're out there doing something that you love to do.
Yeah,
I 100% get it. I get it, man.
Yeah, I remember getting a phone call from one of my kids in the middle of a concert. Like I stepped aside because I wasn't hosting. And Dad, the dog got loose. And I was like, yeah, fuck that dog.
Shut the fuck.
I gotta go, dude. And then I had one time where my son, I don't know which son it is. I don't want to point him out, but the macaroni burnt. Oh, fuck that macaroni. Like, turn the fire off. Like,
called you while you're at work doing your thing. Dad, the macaroni burnt?
Dude, yeah. It's funny story. True story.
What?
My wife buys this hat. She gets it at this Kango looking hat. She gets this hat over at one of those little mall shops in the mall. So I'm wearing the fucking hat all weekend, and it's part of my gear. I even have pictures of it. In the middle of hosting, I believe I think it was a Key Sweat concert. I get a text, "Have you seen my hat?" And I'm like, I'm fucking wearing it.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I'm not lying. When I went on stage, that was part of. I started talking. I go, man. I go, do you guys like my outfit? Everyone yells, blah blah blah. Yeah. I go, man. I go, my wife just texted me right now. Where is my hat? And the whole crowd. Remember, there's like 10,000 people. They all start yelling. I go, I'm fucking wearing it. And people like that. People like that whole damn, this motherfucker. He's crazy.
Man. Yeah, man.
And you know the funny thing about that, I lost the hat. I lost the hat. I have a hat that I have a picture of. I'll show you later. But I lost the hat and I got home and she said, "Where's my hat?" Oh man! And on top of telling her I had it, I lost it.
Yeah. Where were you at when that happened? Where'd that happen at?
I was in Sugar Land, Texas.
Hey, your hat's in Sugar Land, Texas. That makes it even worse.
Yeah, my hat was in Sugar Land.
It makes it even funnier.
Yeah, my hat was in Sugar Land, Texas. So I had did a show. I think it was Ice Cube show, and it was like one day here, one day there, one day there. And shout out to all my guys out there, man. FKOA and all those guys. Shout out to everyone out there. But I that particular show, I always want to kind of look. I have a certain style that is kind of like the old school Beastie Boys type of feel. And I continue to dress like that as much as I can. Sometimes I dye my hair red or I dye it leopard. The bad thing about that is when I have to go pick up my kids from school and the teachers don't know shit. They're like, man, look at that fat man with the red hair. Like, look at that fat dude with leopard hair. Like, but they don't understand, that what I do on the weekends. And not only that, I'll go to the market and I'm walking on with red hair. And people are like, hey, you fool. Like, so, just little funny stories.
Hey, do you ever get recognized?
Do I get recognized? Yes, I do. I get recognized. I'm not really a social media. I'm not really I've had several people always tell me, your style, your look, you got to switch it up. You got to do this. You got to do that. I don't listen to a lot of people. I really don't. But I do get recognized wherever I go, but I'm also not an attention type of guy. Like I kind of stay real low. Perfect example. I used to go to Applebee's all the time after my shows by my house. And remember, these shows are over at 11 o'clock. And I get to Applebee's around 12. I never want to stay too much longer at the shows because drinking's involved. And then I'm in Hollywood or LA, and then I got to drive all the way back to Riverside because I'm in Riverside. So
that's a 90s mission.
Yeah, so I always want to go home. But there's an Applebee's right by my house, so I get there. And I was going there for a while, for about a year, every 2-3 times out of the month. And I'd sit there, and all the bartenders, hey, Anthony, real cool. And then finally one day, the bartender goes, hey, I didn't want to ask you, but I just saw that you just hosted the Brentwood Catch on the Rebound tour. You were there. My mom just said, hey, the guy that comes into Applebee's is here, because somebody told her, hey, the host comes to my bar. And I looked at them. I go, how did you know that I did that? They go, we all follow you. I go, oh, man. He goes, yeah, and you come in every once in a while. You come in here. You don't say nothing. You're dressed really nice, and you have a few beers, and you eat, and you're very quiet, and you don't ever say nothing. And I go, oh, wow, I didn't know you guys followed me. Mm-hmm. I run into that a lot. Where like they follow me, but they don't want to tell me.
Right.
And because for me, it's not really trying to be popular in this business. It's being someone that's been around a long time in this business, and you got to stay neutral and you got to stay humble. Mm-hmm. For me, I've never act like I'm better than anybody else, except my daughter. We're always battling, but yeah, you do I get recognized? I do.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Sugarland, Texas. Where else have you performed?
Man, I've been all over. I just did a show over in Seattle, Washington. I just did a show over there maybe about 2-3 weeks ago with Too Short Exhibit, and I've been there. I've been there, San Jose. I've been all over. I mean, I've been to New York, Canada. I've been to several different places, but I've never went like to the UK.
Not yet.
I don't know what I'd say at the UK. I mean, I know I would be able to do a good job there, but I just never, not yet. You're right. So I haven't really been like out overseas. I don't think I want to. I don't know if you know, man, but flying around's a bitch. Having to jump on the plane, going through all the the checkpoints and all that, and then sleeping everywhere. When you're on tours, man, you're sleeping everywhere. You're on buses sleeping, and yeah, it's crazy. So I think.
Hey, what's the longest you've been on a tour bus?
The tour bus? I was on a tour. Well, when I did the Sugarland, Texas one, we were on Sprinters, and the good thing about the Sprinters is some of the shows, because one was in San Jose and the next day was in Dallas, and you have to travel, you have to get everywhere. And some of them were about 10-hour drives into the place, and then Ice Cube's not going to jump on a Sprinter. They fly. I was like, I want to go with them, but that's not going to happen. But the longest was about a 10-hour, 11-hour drive from San Jose to another. I don't know if it was Sugarland. I can't remember. But those are the funnest times I have on a tour. It's because I like looking at stuff. And I'm looking out the window a lot, and I see little pueblos or just different cities. And just really, you're never going to get to see that. And one of the craziest experiences I had was we pulled up to a restaurant. Not a restaurant. It was a little hole-in-the-wall gas station they sold sandwiches. And it was just like in the movies.
Yeah.
I pull up, these two dudes sitting there with the straw hat and coming, we get out of the Sprinter, and I start talking to the guys and, hey, how's it going? And then I go, because I was telling my partners I hadn't seen one sheriff at all on this trip. So I tell the guys, hey man, there's no cops out here. And he goes, he comes out here once in a while. He goes, there's 2 of them. I go, 2 of them? He goes, yeah. So just like in the movies. I'm like, shit. He goes, yeah, he came yesterday, I think, and he stopped by and he kept going. I go, there's only 2 sheriffs out here, like just like in the movies. So anyways, we get back in the van. My boss, man, he's Jim from FKOA. We get in the Sprinter and we're all eating sandwiches. I'm eating a sandwich and I noticed it tastes different. I was like, man, the texture was just a little different. He goes, look at the wall. So I look at the wall and it said alligator sandwiches. Oh man, that was sickening. Although to some people they like that, but just, little fun stories on traveling with the crew and laughing and just BSing the whole time and smoking cigars and just I think I have more fun doing that. And I obviously love the shows, but man, just having that bonding time with your buddies, talking about whatever you want to talk about, is memorable.
Right.
For me.
And therapeutic.
Yes.
Cruising out there, getting the visual of being on the road, like you said, and yeah, man, 100%, I get it, man. Mm-hmm. Do you notice? Is there a difference between the states? Is there a difference between the crowds in the different states?
Yes, there is.
Right. Okay.
I'm glad you said that.
I really want to know.
They're not like. Okay, I went to, I believe it was Oakland. Remember, I go a lot of places, so if I get the stories wrong, or cities, whatever, so I go to Oakland, and on Saturday morning, I wanted to eat menudo. So I go to the Mexican restaurant. Hey, can I have some menudo and a michelada? Menudo? A michelada? I go, yeah, michelada, like, with tomato juice and beer. We have what do they call it? A bloody. They called it a bloody something. We have a bloody drink, and so they don't call it michelada. So they're
interesting.
Like,
dude.
yeah. So
right.
Yeah, and then I go, do you have menudo? Menudo? What's that? I go, menudo.
What the fuck?
Okay, now remember, we're not in San Gabriel Valley, dog, where they're cooking menudo up everywhere. you go certain places, they don't eat menudo in Dallas, Texas.
See, I didn't know this now.
They don't eat menudo in Dallas, Texas, bro. You got to really go into San Jose to find that.
So that's kind of like a California thing?
It isn't.
LA thing?
It isn't. I mean, I haven't been around to like do like to really check on that with everybody. But yeah, some places don't have menudo or michelada. They don't know what that. They call it a bloody drink. Oh, you're talking about a bloody drink, and all it was Dan Clamato juice and some beer. I was like, this isn't a bloody drink. This is. You got to throw some shit in there, man. Some lemon and stuff. Like,
you could have coached them on how to get it done correctly.
Dude, I could make a killing out there. I should start that. But
imagine
every place is different. Every place is different. You don't have, certain. Like I said, menudo's popular out here, but out there in certain places, it's not. They don't know what it is.
They don't know what it is.
Menudo, yeah, corn. ¿Qué es este aquí?
I never would have thought that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
What about the crowds? Like, do you have to approach them differently?
Okay, you do, and the crowds are different, man. I touch on Sugarland a lot because I really enjoyed the crowd, and I really enjoyed out there because out there, the crowd out there was a lot different than out here. You're not gonna get away with playing certain songs, but out there they like Paul Wall. Mm-hmm. They like all this stuff, like dun 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 dun. Like the music out there is different. Mm-hmm. And certain places, believe it or not, you try throwing on like a Snoop song, they'll groove to it, but they really like that country grammar that it's not like out here.
Right.
And the crowds are a lot different. You say, hey, make some noise, and some of them are like, hey, man, whose birthday? Like, so it's different crowds. But they're all there for a good time. They're all there to listen to music. So hosting could be a little different certain situations. You're not going to get away with, put your effing hands up. I did a show, perfect example. I did a show for Maze.
Yeah, you can't do that to everybody, right?
I did a show with Maze. And Maze is an old school group. And I got asked to host it. So when I went down there, I looked at the crowd, all older people. And I was like, damn. Okay, cool. I got this. I went out there and I started my hosting a little different. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for a lovely evening? And it's going to be very elegant and peaceful. And I'm so happy to be here. And everyone's, like, I can't wait. And then blah, blah, blah. So I had to host it differently.
Yeah.
But in the middle of it, I started noticing the ladies were getting up and shaking. I was like, oh, yeah, put your fucking hands up. So it changed.
So it changed over from that.
Well, I mean, remember, older people, I'm older, but older people at one time partied just as hard as we did, and some still do. My grandpa, he was crazy, man, drinking all the time. But, I think as the concert starts, you got to learn how to don't hit them so hard. Like, ladies and like the way I talk. It's going to be a lovely, elegant night, and that's how you approach those. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, everything's different. You do a country one, you can't get away with that. Put your fucking hands up. Who you talking to, boy? Like,
have you ever done anything like that? Hey, have you ever done?
Of course, I did. Yeah,
let me hear. I want to hear about that.
I've hosted everything you could think of. I've done, it's just different crowds, different races, just different people. It's kind of hard to explain. It's just everything's different.
Right. I would imagine because everywhere has its own vibe. So therefore, everybody is going to react differently to. Everybody's going to act differently to different stimulus.
Yeah.
So you have to know where it is that you're at, so that you could get them to react a certain way.
Exactly.
And do you do research on? Like,
you have to. Everywhere I go, I do research.
Right on,
I want to know and say
and
not only that, I want to know where not to go. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, where not to go? Where
not to go?
Where's on that list? What's on that list?
Funny story, man. I'm in Albuquerque. No, not Albuquerque. I'm sorry. I'm in Oklahoma. I get to Oklahoma, and just joking around, the guy picks us up, takes us to a hotel. It's just joking around, and I don't do drugs, guys, but this is what I said. Man, where do I get weed around here? And the dude went from being professional to, oh, fuck, I got a place, dog. And I was like, oh, no, I'm joking.
Oh, he fucking called your bluff? He called your bluff?
He was going to take me to the back. He goes, we can go to the bad side. He told me, we're going to go to the bad side, but I got you, dog. No. Like, I'm joking. So.
That's funny, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, where do you see yourself? Where do you see, wait, before I even ask that, I need to ask you this, man, because like I said, I've been seeing you on flyers, man, since I was in high school. I told you earlier, I think the first flyer that I ever received was you, Dr. Cisco, and Mr. Aftershock, Dr. Aftershock,
Johnny Aftershock.
Johnny Aftershock. I think that was the first flyer I received, man. And so and that was 1990. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I would say. In the 90s is when I started coming on the flyers.
And you mentioned that the 90s were the best time of your life.
They were, yeah.
Why?
Because I didn't have child support or nothing. I just strictly, I don't know how we got around, bro. I had no job. And see, let me tell you guys something.
No job, promoters don't make no money.
Back in the 90s, people didn't drink. They drank, but they didn't. It wasn't about drinking. It was about music. Now you can't get my ass to go nowhere. I want a beer. I want a bucket. Like, I can't go to a nightclub and just sit there sober and be like, I can't go to Santa Fe Spring Swap Meet and sit there and be like, I had a good time, babe. I danced. Nah, I want to. What happened? You fell and you were drunk. And things are different when you get older. But back in the 90s, there was no real drinking. There was drugs and there was drinking. But for me, it was about the music, the culture, listening to those DJs, listening to the people that came from New York, Frankie Bones, all those warehouse parties was fun. There was no music. We had so much energy, things were great, back then. So that's why I always tell people those were the best times of our lives. Because now you try getting a group of guys to go somewhere with no drinking, it's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do at a party that's rocking or an event with no drinking? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that drinking has a lot to do with going out, but for most of us, it is.
So, it sounds like what attracted you, a big component of that time of your life was the music.
Oh, it was the music,
right?
Yeah.
And so you really enjoy what music is it that does it for you?
It's everything, to tell you the truth. I grew up on disco, but then house music was when house music first came in. First it was techno.
Do you still play it?
I still play it.
That's right.
I still play it. Love it up to this day. I wasn't so much of a hard house. I still don't really like it. Don't knock it, but it just wasn't my era. I prefer house music. And house music, I'm talking like, Get Some Love You Want by Merck. Like, just the music was just so different back then. So, and I still play it up to this day. So that was kind of like my favorite era of all of this.
I don't think like high school kids right now in this current era, this current age, I don't think they go to backyard parties anymore.
Backyard parties ain't like before.
Right,
They're
they don't go to house parties,
nah,
right?
They have them.
Are there party crews? Are there people passing flyers out anymore? Does that even happen?
No, everything's social media.
Everything's social media.
Yeah.
Right. That's crazy. And I think that the 90s, like that era, that backyard party era, I think it's very important.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. There's a lot of people that were involved in that had a good time, that feel the same way about you.
Yeah.
I feel the same way as you do, that it was the best times.
It was.
Because they were, dude, like, hey man, I remember risking it all just for a good time. Like driving out to Hollywood,
all drunk,
partying, getting fucking loaded out there, and then having to drive back home on a mission.
Oh yeah.
And just windows down, bumpy music, and you're just having a good time.
Dude.
Risking it all, dog.
I remember driving down going to a party in LA with my buddies, and we're throwing beer cans out the window
There you
on
go.
the
What the
10
fuck?
freeway. Like nobody's business. All top, just beers flying out of the window.
Yeah.
You can't do that shit now.
You can't do that shit. But you can't do that shit now. I can't do that shit now because we know better.
Well, technology's taking over, man. Cameras everywhere. You just can't do it no more. That's what it was. We didn't have cameras back then.
No, imagine.
We didn't have no cameras back then. Things were, we were the beer run kings, throwing beer runs on. We did so many beer runs back then that we had to leave the area. We hit all the liquor stores, couldn't do them anymore. We had to go.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Had to go to Glendora. Hit Glendora for a whole 2-3 months, and then from there couldn't do them there. We had to go to Azusa.
That's
hit
wild,
all
bro.
the liquor stores. Yeah, so
That's wild. Beer runs are wild, bro.
yeah, I don't suggest doing them now, but yeah, we had our time.
Our break is done. We're back.
We're back.
We talked about where have you been? We've talked about where you are. Now I would like to cover, where are you going, man? What does the future hold?
The gym. The gym. That's where the future. I'm being honest. The gym and health.
Okay, all right, man.
I was in a motorcycle accident a few years ago. I broke my foot. I couldn't walk for a whole year. I lived right across the street from a bar. Buffalo wings, beer, and remember, I didn't really have to pay for it because I was a regular. They call me Reg. It was a place called The Hideaway over in downtown Riverside, and the bartender, hopefully the owner don't hear, but the bartender was very bitter of the owner, and I just always drank for free. Come down on this day, Anthony, Tuesdays, Buffalo wings, whatever. The process of drinking, eating, not walking, so where the future holds for me, as you're saying, is I think now health is very important with everybody, but in order for me to be doing these shows and still doing what I'm doing, you have to be somewhat healthy, somewhat, not completely, but you gotta, I want to try to do this for 10 more years, but my goal is I don't know. I don't think I have a goal with it anymore. I think that I hit a certain plateau where you can't go any further anymore. That's it. That boom. Just like when you're a baseball player and you like Michael Jordan, for instance, not baseball, I'm going off subject, but like Michael Jordan, he was known as the best basketball player ever, besides Kobe and all that. Everyone has their own preferences, but I think once you hit a certain plateau, that is it. You just got to maintain it. You got to maintain it and keep going, because I always tell people, you got to be better than your last show, because if you're not, you could be replaced. But I feel with all the history and all the stuff that I have under my belt, I could have a bad show here and there because of my history. It's just, when you talk about resume, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that have resumes like mine, but man, how further can you go with this? Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe the Grammys, that would be nice. So yeah, I guess there is somewhat of a further, but I just feel that in my life and how far I've came, that you can't go any further anymore. You could do better things. I mean, yeah, I'd like to be a Jay Leno one day, but I just feel that right now, just maintaining what I've accomplished is my goal. if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We're going to start wrapping this up. Okay. We're going to start wrapping this up. There's questions that I have, excuse me, that I ask everybody that's on. So we're going to get started with those questions.
12 inches. Oh, no.
Documented. You guys got that? Documented. And for everybody that wanted to know, boom, there it is.
Well, maybe 8. With an extension.
There you go. I want to take this opportunity for you to mention somebody who has inspired you, how they inspired you, and give them, let them because I think it's good for the people to know. I think it's good for people to know the positive effect that they have on others.
Yeah.
So who inspires you and how did they do it, man?
Who inspires me? Man, there's a lot of people that inspire me. I mean, I got great friends. One of them off the list is my friend Miguel Paredes. I went to school with him at Giano and still a friend today. He was one of the reasons where we started DJing as kids, coming over the house and me going over there playing with these cheap little mixers. And he's inspired me a lot as a friend. Still a DJ up today. But I also have friends like DJ Cazal, where we grew up together. Grew up in La Puente. Used to run around and, all that. But as far as inspiration, there's several people that inspired me. I mean, my company alone, FKOA, Jim, all the staff. There's a lot that goes behind all this, man. It's just not like a walk in the park. There's a lot that goes to it. So a lot of people in the business inspire me. You got to, especially hard workers. I love hard workers because when we do these shows, man, you got to be a hard worker. You can't be a slacker, and you got to really take it seriously. So as far as inspiration, them, my family, my kids, my 2 boys, everybody in my life that's been there and been through the struggles. I don't want to say I regret a lot of my life. I don't regret any of it, but there are some things that I could have done better. I remember being hungover playing baseball catch with them sitting on a chair. But I tried.
You still showed up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you still did it.
I was there.
I've been there, done that too, man.
Hungover, literally sitting on a tall chair catching. And then the ball would fall. Hey, get it.
You threw it, you get it. That's the rule.
But I think my motivation, my inspiration, you got to be a good person. I wasn't the perfect person with my kids. But I just think now that I wanted to do things differently, So with some stuff that happened in the past it's another show. But everyone, my kids inspire me. I get on their nerves sometimes. Sometimes I've been getting into little arguments with my son, but I'm trying to teach them. Dad knows no matter what. You might not like it, but Dad's gonna tell the truth. So yeah, I just think they all inspire me.
There's no better inspiration than that, man.
Nope.
And also, real fast too, because listen to your pops. Oh, yeah. How many years of experience do you have under your belt? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With just life. And that's what I tell, whenever all my kids, I'm sorry, not all my kids, but all my friends, their kids, I always tell their kids, hey, listen to your dad or listen to your mom. Your mom knows. Yeah. Your dad knows. You think they were born yesterday? Yeah. Hell no. They fucking know what's up. They were in there. They know what life is all about. And right here, what greater teacher of life to have than your pops?
Oh, big time.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
All the way.
Right. There you go, man. If you can give your freshman self any type of advice, what would it be?
Wait, what was that question, man?
If you can give your freshman self, your 15, 16-year-old self, any type of advice, what would it be?
Credit. Taking care of your credit.
That's one thing too.
Hey,
shit, man.
Life is all about credit, man. But on the real, if I could tell myself, if I could fix me as a younger person, I don't think I would have changed anything about the way I am, except the women, as far as relationships, they're, if you're going to get in this business, you're going to get tempted a lot. And I got tempted a lot. And if I give advice sometimes to kids or that are 19, 20, 21, you got to really focus on your relationship. Because if you got to remember, when you get older, you're gonna need someone to take care of you. I don't care how macho you think you are. You're gonna need somebody to help you with certain things. Maybe cooking. Maybe bills that you don't understand. And you remember, we come from an era where we didn't have laptops. Like my daughter has. I look at this homework. I'm like, what the? I got to YouTube it. So I always tell people, really pick the person that's gonna be with you when you're old. Because when you're old, you can't pick up on chicks, and you can't go to clubs no more. Like if I was to go get a divorce or I don't know what I'd do, bro. I'd be at the Santa Fe Springs swap meet.
Hey, we'll go together
with a bunch of other chicks that also cheated on their husband. I think that you got to really pick your future chick. Are you going to get along with her? Nah, probably not. But now, when you get older, you need someone to take care of you, or vice versa. You might need to take care of her. But I just think that's very important, because back then I broke a lot of hearts. I made a lot of mistakes, and I can't fix it. But I could fix now. And I could just teach my kids. They don't like all the info I give sometimes, bro. I'll tell, hey, I don't care what you say. This is the way it is, and this is why I did it. So that's what I would do. If I could go back, I would have did things differently. So that's where we're at with that.
Cool, man. Right on. And I ask every guest to leave a question behind for the next guest, for the next episode. And Gino, who was my last guest, he left this question for you. He wants to know what you are currently doing to reach your full potential.
What am I currently doing to reach my full potential? As far as the hosting industry?
Whatever it is that in yourself, whatever it is, man.
I think what I'm doing to reach my potential is really being focused on reality. Because once you're involved with this whole music business, after a while, you tend to lose focus on little things. Like, for instance, I was constantly on my phone a lot. I was constantly talking to people. I was walking up and down my house. Oh yeah, okay, put me on the flyer. Send me this, send me that. So now what I do differently is I'm more focused on put my phone away. My wife's here. My daughter grabs my phone all the time. I'll be on Pornhub. No, I'm joking. No, I'm not. No, but Pornhub's that's Americans' downtime, bro. It's not baseball, dog.
That's your pastime.
That's my pastime. Remember, I came from the reels, and you had I had to look at the TV with the swivels.
And we talked about Spice earlier.
You see like a titty. Oh shit! Yes, but I think now I just focus more on what they need, not what I need. More focus on that, and try to put away my whole concert thing aside until my wife goes to work, and then I get on the phone. But I just think I'm more focused on whatever they have going on, and I got to really put that aside and make time for that separately. Like, I don't know if a lot of people that know me know, my phone says that after 5 o'clock, it's off. The weekends, you can't even call me unless we're talking, we have an arrangement, but I talk no business at all on my phone at all. I don't even go on my Facebook unless we have a concert and I got to promote something. Then I'll do it when my girl goes shower or whatever. I try to get it out real quick. But that's really what I've changed a lot in my life, is being more tentative to what they need and not thinking on this whole Anthony Biscotti host guy. Nah, I got to just be me. I got to be the dad that they need, that my wife needs, and a friend. I got to be a friend. You call me. You could call my son any night. You call him, I don't know, because we get all different hours. We get up early, but we're all pretty tight. If my son calls me 3 a.m, Dad, my car broke down. I'm on the 210 freeway. Come get me. No questions asked. We're there. I could call him. Hey, son. And I've taught that to them, and I don't know if that's going off the subject, but just little things like that, So.
That's 100% on the subject. I am happy that the both of you have that type of a relationship, man. That's fucking huge, man. Because when it all comes down to it, who the fuck do you guys have? Each other. You know what I mean?
And there's going to be arguments. There's going to be. my father, I don't want to say he wasn't there for us, and I don't want to talk negative about him. He's still around, but he kind of wasn't. He kind of wasn't. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't repeat that with them, and be that type of a father where, you know, like I wanted you to call me like, hey, Dad, I messed up, man. Like this, whatever situation it is, because I've always told them everything is fixable. Everything is fixable except HIV and stuff like that. I mean, you can take medicine for it, but that's why I tell them, you just don't know like I know. You might think you know, but you don't know. And if I do something or if I step on your toes, you got to learn how to just roll with it and let Dad continue on why he said it or why he did it. And maybe down the road when you're older and you're my age, I always tell him, wait till you have kids. You know, so
absolutely. Well, it might not make sense now in the moment, but as you get older, as people get older, as me, like I've experienced the same shit. Like things that I had going on when I was a kid that I did not like with my mother and father, whatever, fucking rules, fucking getting told shit that I shouldn't be doing. Yeah. But now I fucking get it. Now I'm like, oh, now I get it. Yeah. Because it all makes sense as you get older, and and like the way that you said that you want to be a different father to your kids than the father that you had.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what fucking life is all about. It's about learning and then just making things better for yourself. And therefore you make things better for your future, your kids, man. And that's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
What question do you have? What question are you going to leave for the next guest?
Next question I'm going to leave for the next guest. What are you doing to better your life? I guess the same question.
And that's a great question, man.
What are you going to do about your credit that you didn't fix?
How are you going to fix it? How are you going to fix that shit? All right.
No, I'm joking.
Any final words?
Any final words? No, I just thank everybody. Like I said, I never thought about doing shows. And when we talked, I just thought it was a perfect fit. I think, I just think throughout the years of doing this, social media, like I said, I wasn't a big social media. I don't care if 80,000 people follow me. I don't care. I could shut down my Facebook and all that right now, and I wouldn't care about it. But I do know that it's a necessity. I know that, you got to be out there. I come on it and I come on it when I can. But for the most part, I'm thankful for everything that I'm doing, and pretty much that's where we're at. I'm complete. I still got more to go, but I'm complete. I've done a lot, man. I got a lot of miles on me.
And I think you have a lot in your tank.
Yeah.
I check this out, man. So now I feel like you have a lot to offer. So you put the idea in my mind to promote the podcast more. And I was like, man, because I promote it, I do, I tell people about it. I make my shorts, a lot of it is word of mouth.
Yeah.
But you suggested, hey, why don't you make a flyer for the upcoming episodes?
Yeah.
It's a great idea. So now, because of your recommendation, your advice, I'm going to start promoting the podcast more other than just word of mouth.
Yeah.
And another thing, I see how you have pursued and you've grinded and you've worked hard at what you like to do, what you love to do. Yeah. And that's inspiring.
Yeah.
That's very inspiring,
Thank you,
man. And I want to thank you for coming down to my pad. I want to thank you for bringing positive energy, bringing your kids. Thank you guys for coming. Now you are a forever member. You are a forever guest of the Let's See What Happens podcast.
Heck yeah.
You're also a member of the Society of Bell Ringers, dog. You rang that bell, and we're a community. I want to thank you very much. I fucking big time appreciate you, dog.
All right, brother.
I'm pumped up. Give me a fucking hug, dog.